Good day, good day, good day. This is Chris Blanola. All right, we're going to do a series of short videos that I'm going to pre-record and then I'm going to release them instead of doing a live stream today, right? So I have a lot of clients today, so I'm going to just do it this way in order to get content out. So let me start with the first person or people that I want to discuss, which is Chrisean Rock, Blueface. And I'll throw Carlissa in there a little bit. Blueface did, I guess they both did this 20 versus 1 speed dating thing. And Blueface had made a comment about a young lady who reminded him of Junior, right? Now, as you know, since Blueface has, been out of jail, Chrisean and him had a quick reunion. That fell apart very quickly. And then, of course, he's been on this, freedom thing, he's dating who he wants to date. He's out having a good time. But you can see they're still kind of colliding in a way. I'm noticing he did, they both doing a 20 versus 1. She's doing something where she's, I don't know what something about play the game and earn some money. He started doing the same thing. So they're kind of still doing the same thing. But the point is that, he's been seen with Hazel E. and some other people and so on and so forth. And then, of course, Chrisean, said she was afraid to be in California, but promptly went back to California. And then she became upset because he mentioned Junior in this 20 versus 1. And I just felt like it was just, but for both of them, this was an excuse to bump heads, right? Because at the end of the day, I could see what he was saying, right? But did that justify? I just feel like sometimes, especially with the baby being so bullied online by a lot of like very negative, ignorant people, I think you have to protect him a little bit more. Even if you saw that and you just said, what, pass, what, I'm not interested. But the baby's already being bullied. Why would you bring that up? And that's probably a sore spot for her. But at the same time, I'm like, the comments about him dying or the comments about him going back to jail or the comment, like even put this man's address out. That's not justified. Like him saying what he said, him making a comment about this person looking like Junior is not justified in you, wishing death on anybody, and that's just how I see it. That's just my opinion. But I do understand how she felt because the baby is constantly bullied by a lot of people online. But I do feel like Chrisean also needs to do a better job of protecting Junior online, right? She does. She needs to do a better job as well. This was my baby, just like Nicki Minaj and some other celebrities. You wouldn't even be seeing my baby like that. Not that you're hiding the baby, but there's a protection that should be around that baby, right? And I almost feel like, and this is just my opinion. I almost feel like they all use the baby for clout, like all of them. Like it's not just one person. That's her child. She has the right to do what she wants with him. But I feel like at some point they're all using the situation, the baby, everything that's going on. At some point or another, they're all kind of doing it, right? And of course, Carlissa couldn't wait to jump in and threaten that she was going to get a restraining order against Chrisean, or she had gotten a restraining order. I would love to see that restraining order. But she said she was going to get a restraining order. And then at first I'm like, Carlissa, shut the hell up. Why are you always in it? But then I'm thinking to myself, child, if somebody got online and talking about speaking death over my child or my children, or somebody was talking about the address to so-and-so, child, I'll probably be at your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to really think about it. Because even though sometimes I really just don't like Carlissa as a person, as a mother, I think she's a very much so clout chaser. She uses her kids at the expense of her own livelihood. I had to really think, like, if you were speaking that over my child too, right? We don't have a problem. We really will have a problem. So give me the energy around Chrisean and Blueface, and like what's gonna happen between them. They have the Two of Cups, right? That Two of Cups is a connection energy. This is why I keep saying to myself, like, even though I see all of this toxicity going on, They're back and forth. He looks like he's trying to go his own way. I don't feel like that's over with yet. Now, there's also still other people that are going to be in the mix. So that means they could very well have that reconnection, but still, he's still trying to see other people. They're both doing whatever they're doing. I can see that. Give me the energy around Chrisean and Blueface. I spoke about this the last time when we were on our live stream about how I feel like things could really escalate between them. And that's what they have here, right? There's an escalation factor that's there. It's just almost like, is at a point where these people just really don't need to be in each other's lives. They just need to move on. They need to just figure out something as far as co-parenting or whatever they're going to do. Because when this message is a behavior that can, between the two of them, they're both emotionally immature individuals. They both to the relationship being in alignment. That's a short-term, short-lived experience between the two of them, and this could represent something happening. I just don't like, I've always tried to see Chrisean in a certain way, and I've always tried to be supportive of her. But, and also too, I feel like, I just feel like don't speak death over people. Don't speak like that. Those things are not good, right? Because this can lead to recklessness. These things are reckless mouth, reckless behavior, right? This can lead into something. And you still care about the person. And then even like this 4 swords came up. You still care about the person. And God forbid something happened, you then spoke this out into existence over something so small as this comment he made about Junior, right? You need to even do a better job of protecting your own child. This is why so many people, between you and Blueface, these people have a lot of content between the two of y'all to bully and ostracize this child. I'm gonna be honest with you. But I do see like them still connecting. I do see something happening between them that can escalate, right? This is what this talks about. I don't ever see these people really being on the right track, the same page, moving in the same direction. I just don't see it. There's a lot of in and out, off and on. When you look at some of these things here, as much as Blueface, he has this energy around like how he seems different. He's still Blueface, right? You got that King of Wands here. Okay, I'm gonna come off a little bit different. I did go take some courses. I do think about things differently. One thing I do like that he is consistent with is that he's consistently claiming Junior at this time, right? I'm gonna say at this time. But even behind that Knight of Pentacles, that's somebody who can still be negligent in the behavior. Still exhibit some behaviors that are not cool. They have conflict still coming their way, right? Tension, conflict, turmoil, and then there's a message around, okay, we forgive each other, blah, 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 right? Blueface is in the business of making money right now. I can see that, like, on his social media, right? He trying to make $1. He trying to get interviews. He trying to get bookings. He trying to make some money. He trying to get his coins up, right? That has been the big focus for him. So for him right now, when you even see that 4 of Cups, it's like, I ain't got time for nothing else except the money. But he still has the message of reevaluation. So I can see what, even though he's going through this with Chrisean and they're back and forth, and he kind of over here with this one, that one, and the third. There, that 4 of Wands, that 4 of Cups, that represents a reevaluation. So I say all of this to say it's not over yet. They're gonna go back and forth. There's still conflict to be had. You'll still see conflict between them for the next 1 to 5 weeks. It almost makes you feel like it don't even make sense to take sides. It doesn't make sense to get upset. It doesn't make sense for people to get involved, because at the end of the day, what do they have that's still there? They still have, regardless of what they go through, they're still gonna find their way back to each other, and then people are gonna be pissed all over it again. So to me, it just doesn't even make a whole lot of sense to sit there and just get yourself riled up. It's entertainment at this point. But I do think with that Fool card, they need to be careful, because that can represent, people, things getting out of control. And you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that on both ends. So I speak positivity over both of them and their child, And hopefully it can come to a place where it can just, I think the only thing that will stop Blueface and Chrisean from derailing is just to leave each other alone. I mean, period, point blank. I think the only thing, I'm gonna repeat this, the only thing that will stop Chrisean and Blueface from derailing is to just leave each other alone, just to go their separate ways, right? And that's gonna take time. That's not gonna be an overnight thing. When people form these toxic relationships that are back and forth, off and on, karmic, bad energy like that, it's hard to get. It's like a vicious cycle. It's hard to get out of it. But that, I think that's the only thing that's gonna stop, right? Stop the relationship from derailing. Again, I don't agree. As a father, and he started this with Junior being bullied. I also do too, Chrisean too, because when she was in that first had him and she was in a grocery store and he was laying over sideways, that ignited the fire. Blueface doing what he did online, that ignited the fire. I think that both parents need to step back and just protect their child. And, even with Blueface doing the 20 verses, one or whatever he did, even though it was a small comment, that's still people taking, these hate pages, these stand pages, they are vicious, very vicious individuals. And they have a lot of people that they don't care if it's a child. They don't care if it's an elderly person. They don't care if it's a person with disabilities, a disability. They're going to be negative. And I think that Blueface has to be able to say, you know what, I'm not going to speak on my son anymore. I'm going to protect him. And even with Chrisean, she has to do a better job of how she deals with him. My sister was telling me that, the whole thing with her and the blogger, how the blogger had mentioned that Chrisean, had the baby and the baby was starving and she wouldn't even get them anything. You too busy. Like, these are things that, again, how do you want people to, you talk about Blueface not protecting your child, but then you don't even protect your own child. They all need to do better. They all need to do better. And again, I was gearing up to get Carlissa, but if somebody got online, right, and spoke death or jail or gave my children's address, my baby's at home, but gave my daughter's address out or gave my address out to talk about, that I'll have a problem with it too. Like, period, point blank. I know Carlissa is a nuisance. I know she's a clout chaser. I know Carlissa. What's crazy about Carlissa is that, she got so much dysfunction going on in her family. But she's so focused on Chrisean Rock. Like, fix what's in your home. Fix your situation. Fix. You got one son that's actually in prison. Another son that just got out of jail. Fix your situation. Fix what's going on with your kids, right? So busy worrying about everything that's going on in and around, but fix that first. Fix your own household. Anyway, y'all, take care, stay blessed, encourage, and empower. Give me your feedback on all of this. I'm gonna be honest. I think they all need to do a better job of being adulting and protecting this child, and not putting themselves in a situation to where things can escalate, spiral out of control. An incident can happen, police, laws called, something happens, right? So I just think they all need to do a better job. This is going to be one of the many videos that I put together today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share if you care. Give me your thoughts. Also, you can book with me at BlueNolaTarot.com. BlueNolaTarot.com for your personal reading. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say about it. I just was like, there's a lot going on, and I have family in town, but I'm like, this is too much going on with all that. Protect, be quiet, get off, leave each other alone. But that's not gonna happen today or tomorrow, right? You'll see them break up, go in different directions, dealing with other people, and still entertaining and interacting with each other. So, doesn't make much sense to get worked up about it. But at the end of the day, it's just unfortunate you see this happening. There's a little bitty baby here, that's just innocent in all of this. Didn't ask to be here, innocent in all this. And it's just sad when I see adults literally bullying a child. It's disgusting, it's sad. And honestly, the karma, I can see what Chrisean says sometimes, like, karma gonna fall on you. I think anybody who does that with children, I think that you're going to find yourself in even your own personal life having some personal setbacks. Speaking negatively over, children, disabled people, people who, just is eventually every dog is going to have their day. And karma does not sleep. All right. Peace and blessings to y'all. Take care. Stay blessed. Encouraging power. Bye.